Alright, Kryptonites, I am back again with another video, and it's been one heck of a day, heck of a night basically. So we started looking at this Bitcoin asset yesterday, basically putting out a new video, and I had been charting it and studying it for a little while. So once I put this video out, it seemed like just everybody just wants to know and understand more about trading with Ichimoku, trading Bitcoin with Ichimoku. So that's the thing that I'm basically going to be focusing on for a while, to try to help you guys to catch some of these profits, because this Bitcoin is pretty volatile and it has some very quick moves with potential to make 20-30% gains in a few days. So you want to be able to catch those, and you want to know how to catch them. All right. And if you don't have a plan or an idea what you're doing with any market, you're not going to be successful. All right. So I do have a plan, and I have been studying this asset for a little bit, and there's some other things that I want to discuss as far as parameters, as far as the settings used. Okay. So I've been getting that a lot of traders use 20, 60, 120, and 30 displacement. All right, so I'll look at that really quick, but what I'm going to do is put out another video today, and I'm going to focus basically on the settings. I've understood that there's 2 or 3 different types of settings that everyone uses. I'm going to show those settings compared to my settings, that the default settings rather, and I'll show you the difference and tell you the difference and tell you what I believe would be best. All right, so also I trade Ichimoku a little different than the normal Ichimoku trader. I don't just look for TK crossovers and things of that nature. So therefore the settings may be beneficial to use it the way that I'm using it. But we'll look at it deeper in detail, and I'll put a video out on that, and we'll focus just on that. Currently on this here, I want to just show this opportunity because the market kind of look like it wants to try to move a little bit quick today, and there may be an opportunity today. But my mindset is telling me don't look at buying Bitcoin at this moment until we see this level here, all right, which is going to be 166.47. That's probably when you want to look at buying this Bitcoin, and we could get a better level. We could get a lower level, maybe down to this point, but at this time you want to wait for this level. Now when this candle closes, you see the rejections here. So basically when I'm trading with Ichimoku, what we're looking for is bounces off of levels. Now this is your Tenkan Kijinsen zone, where the green and blue lines lie. That's where you're looking for your trading opportunities. Now the market's going to correct itself, so it usually corrects down to, in a really strong trending market, it'll correct only to Tenkan-sen, and it won't close below that level. When it's not as strong, it'll correct down to your Kijinsen, and sometime it'll go lower than Kijinsen when in a very good correction. All right, but then we also look at these fractal levels. Now I haven't talked much about fractal levels and trading them on YouTube. I do most of that discussion inside my membership course, because there's some things that I do totally different. I just show pretty much the basic trading concepts on YouTube, and then I get a little bit deeper with my members. Okay, so just know that we also have more levels where we would be looking for this. We're not just looking at this, we're also looking at the fractal levels. So we're not just looking at the market bouncing inside the TK zone or at Tenkan-sen. All right, so currently this is what I'm looking at now. I'll probably have to update this quite often because the market moves a little quicker than you would see some Forex moves, and I'm going to be able to show you where the levels are. So currently, if this candle closed as it was, then we would start to look at this point here. If Bitcoin doesn't reach this level, we'll watch it drop farther, and then maybe we'll look for our buy down here, or our buy at this level here at 118.91. okay, but then you just have to look at the levels, because you pretty much trade levels, because that's where the market's going to pull back. You're looking to get into this trend to the upside. Well, you can't just catch this. You don't want to jump in the trend to the upside while the market's still dropping, because it can continue to go and continue to go, and you're stuck in a trade, and then you lose your profit, you lose your money. All right, so if you have a level, then you know where to get in, because then you have something under you to hold that that market per se, all right, because there's a level of support that may hold the market, and it gives you a higher probability of your trade working out than when you mix that with your price action. As far as these rejection signals, but these are the things that you really like to see, all right, and then indecision candles and so forth. Now, if the price continues to drop, we never get our entry here. We can move our entry lower if the price continues to drop, because we are going to look for the price to move higher. But it's just a matter of where. You don't want to be in here and then, if like, okay, you enter the market now and then the market just continues to drop and then you lose out and then it corrects itself. You want to know, it's all about timing, and timing is knowing where those levels are. So currently this is the level we're looking at, 166.47.2. All right, that's where we're looking to get into the market. I'll probably update this a little later today. Let's look at really quickly how some of the settings are adjusted and what they look like when you put them up against the default settings. So let me put I'm going to use just at this moment the 20, 60, 120, and 30 displacement settings against the default settings, which I am using. And we'll look at that, and I'll tell you what I think really quick. Hold on one second. Okay, so I have put 2 Ichimokus on the chart, and one of them is just the default settings, and the other is going to be the settings of 20, 60, 120, and 30 displacement. The darker green is going to be the normal settings, okay, the default settings. All right, then my Tenkan, this is going to be my normal Tenkan, the light green. The red is the 20, 60, 120, 30 displacement settings. All right, and then this is the normal default Kijinsen, the blue line, and the black line is the it's going to be the other settings of 20, 60, 120, and 30. So when we look at this, I think you get a couple of different things, okay? And I'm going to show you. So I trade Ichimoku a little different. So I'm looking for these bounces, and this does, you could see on the not the default settings, but the settings of 20, 60, and 120. All right, so we'll call these the advanced settings. You could see the market bouncing on this Tenkan line, and Tenkan went flat. But for the default settings, the green level, then Tenkan never went flat, and the market's not exactly bouncing on that level. All right, so it looks like it's honoring that level pretty much when the market's correcting itself and looking for an area to pull back to support and resistance. Now we want to find out about the fractal levels, how well it honors that, because that's going to be a big thing. But when I'm looking at this wouldn't affect me so much, because still I'm looking at that as a bounce off of your Tenkan level. It's just that this flattened out, so it's more of shows you better support and resistance maybe. But then another big thing is when the market is trending pretty nice, the default settings, you seem to bounce off of that level for trades to the upside when it's trending. Now here where we're starting to correct ourselves, you correct back to the flat Tenkan with the advanced settings. All right, and then see the advanced settings right here for the black Kijinsen level. All right, now when I move back farther into the market here, you can see we violated everything except the advanced settings here. And this would look like a breakout, and a lot of people might trade this if you're looking at the normal settings. But on the regular on the advanced settings, you still have support at your Kijinsen level. All right, but then when you look at the market trending again, so I'm going to have to do this to make it bigger so we can really see. All right, because it's hard to see here. But when we do this again, you could see the market follows more of the regular settings when it's trending. All right, but then when it pulls back good to the advanced settings. But you have nice rejections and bounces and setups off of the regular settings. All right, and the market stays above this regular setting when you're looking at just Tenkan bounces. Now, if you're trading Kumo breakouts, I'd have to do more of a precise video to talk more about it. But you can see here, and this is probably going to be tough to see. So here's the default setting. Here's the default settings, the darker green, okay? And you could see with the default settings, we had the Kumo breakout up here, and we were able to get into a trade quite possibly. But on the advanced settings, you could see where the market just bounced off of the cloud one time. You might not have been able to catch that because that's not a clear-cut trade. All right. So with the regular setting, you would have probably been able to catch at least a Kumo breakout to this point. But here you may have a hard time catching something. All right, and then we'll go back a little farther, and you could see that's really sloppy now, guys, in that area. I'm going to still continue to talk about it, but I also want to talk about when you look at breaking out. So let me make sure that I didn't change this here. Let me look at this, because that should be okay. So Chiku Span broke out of the price sooner, it looks like, on the advanced setting there. And then we're going to back up. We're going to back up a little bit more. Now you can see the price is bouncing on this level right here. This is the normal settings, the default settings. But you had nothing to bounce on here. Now it was a beautiful bounce right here at the bottom of this cloud. Here, an Ichimoku trader would have thought you were taking a Kumo breakout. So you got some areas where you're going to have, where it's going to look, you're going to get some false signals with both, okay? But you're going to, it looks like you have more opportunities with the default settings because you're bouncing here. You would have never been able to catch this trade. And you're also bouncing on your Tenkan. Now it does look like the default settings, everything's so flat that you could have probably looked for a bounce at this level, but it never really hit that level. But you do see it hit the default cloud level, and then it stayed with the default Tenkan level. That's where you want to catch your trades, on that default Tenkan level. You can't catch trades on the other setting that you have listed here for the advanced settings because price never really comes back to it much. All right, and then the TK crossover is later. I had a TK crossover here. Now probably I would have taken this crossover here because this was the crossover right here, but the market was dropping. Then you had a indecision candle and then a break above that level. You're still inside of a range. You're in trading inside of this one candle, so you're consolidated pretty much. This was a nice breakout here, but I don't trade Kumo. I mean, I don't trade TK crosses much, and the reason why is because look how far away from the crossover this candle is. And I'm going to get deeper into TK crossovers because there's so many candles after a crossover that price is coming back to these levels, and I'll be able to discuss that more in another video. I can't show you everything in one video, but this here, you can see this crossover here. If you're trading the TK crossover, look how far away from any support and resistance levels you are. That's why I don't trade them that much. But when you look at the default setting, you got a little bit better of a crossover where you're closer. But now that wasn't a great crossover because the market was pretty flat there. And then as I said back here, you could see where we bounced off of this cloud. That was a good thing. This is going to look sloppy for you guys because I got everything on the chart trying to show you. So I won't show you here because it's not really doing much. But when we look at just trading and catching, because a lot of times this kind of market, and it's so volatile, is going to be moving up and down. And if you can't catch it when it's moving up or down, you don't have a level to catch it because look at it, it's bouncing off of the default Tenkan. It never really comes to your default your advanced Tenkan level that you guys are using for 2060 120. Now I'm not telling you it's wrong, okay, but I'm just showing you that you don't have those, the market coming back to those levels. All right, and then also look at my crossover here. I already got the crossover here. You get the crossover until here. The market's moved already. And then looking at the default settings, I got a Kumo breakout here. This is flat market though. Wouldn't pay much attention with a flat market. You got to have all your signals. Everything was flat on both of these, so that was pretty good. Let's go back, see what else we got. And it's kind of hard to see here, so I won't discuss it because it's so sloppy with both on the chart. Yeah, it's a little flat there, so it's hard to, market's super flat there. So it's hard to really see anything. see what else we could look at. Really flat there with Ichimoku. Won't be able to tell much because we're so much junk there. And then let's see. This big candle came all the way back to the advanced level that you guys are looking at. Now these candles bounced on pretty much both, because both of them were pretty close here. Not much of a difference here until the market really started moving. You could see the big difference here because the more advanced setting is going to be slower. All right, it's going to be a little slower. You'll get into the trade later depending on what trade you're trading, and I trade bounces, so it's a little bit different. I don't know if you guys are just trading the regular default Ichimoku signals, but I don't trade the regular Ichimoku signals. I trade a lot of bounces and a lot of fractal levels. So I can't really tell much here. I'll make another video and we'll discuss it further, but this is nothing but slop now because you got too much stuff on the chart, and I had to set it up so I could try to show you both, but now it's just a bunch of spaghetti, right? All right, guys, so hopefully this helped you out a little bit. I'll get deeper into these settings. Again, like I'm showing you here, once this candle closes, we can reevaluate because we may be able to set our level at this point where we will look for the move to the upside, because again, I told you I look for bounces, and if we're bouncing and rejecting this level, it's showing that we're not going any lower. We're trying to hold that point. We are trading inside this one candle. The market hasn't closed outside of that candle, so you're trading inside the one candle. We do a lot of inside out trading, which means we box that market in and we trade outside of the box. Once the market breaks outside of the box, now we can catch it sooner here than trading inside out, and you talk more about inside out in my courses, how to trade inside out, but basically it's just trading inside this one candle or boxing the market in at certain levels. So you could even box the market in while it's inside this indecision level. If the market's not going to do much while it's inside the indecision level, so let me show you really quickly. Like if I was looking at this market and I would say, well, you see that big indecision candle, the market's not going to do much until it gets outside of that level, right? And then finally it went outside of that level. It broke outside of that level and it started moving to the upside. So that's inside out trading basically, and you have to look at that at levels and whatnot. Always have a level, because the level's like your train station. When the market pulls to that station, that's when you're looking to get into a trade. You don't ever get into a train that's already moving. All right, so you want to have a level because you want to have protection. All right, the levels are like protection, and it's also showing you where more buyers or sellers are coming into the market. You could see rejections, you could see price action a little better, and the price action that you see at these levels are more definite. All right, because you have a level where it's holding, and other traders see these levels and know these levels. All right, so there was something else I wanted to show. Yeah, definitely. Let me take I'm going to keep the default for now. All right, and then I'm going to remove this advanced setting for now, and I'm going to show you one more thing. So like I said, what we were looking for and what we're looking at, we can slowly drop our entry point based on what the market does per candle. I'm not going to go to the 4-hour time frame right now. I'm going to stick with the daily. Now, a lot of times I'll look at the daily bias and I'll try to enter on the 4-hour time frame. All right, so I'll look for the 4-hour setup. And currently, the way the market is moving, I wouldn't have a good setup on 4-hour time frame. My best setup right now is just looking at this daily level and looking at where I could get into the trade. But now the market may drop lower, as I said, but there's another thing that's going to help you. I use this ultimate oscillator, all right, for divergence. And when I see divergence, I start to know that the market's getting a little weak. Now there's some divergence here. You could see that it's moving to the downside. This is a little bit of bearish divergence from this point. Okay, so let me draw this out, show you. See this level here? That's this level, right? See this point here? That's pretty much this point. That's lower. This is higher. That's divergence. That's bearish divergence. And there's two types of divergence, regular and hidden divergence. When I'm looking for the market to continue moving in a trend to the upside or downside, I'll look for the hidden divergence. But when I'm looking for a reversal, I'll look for the regular divergence. Now, I'm not really looking for a reversal. I would be looking for a reversal if I had more of like a double top level. So suppose this was my level, the market left and then came back to that level. I have something to base it on, and then the market's here again. Then I would start to look at my divergence. If I got good divergence, then I'm looking to trade that to the downside. All right. But that's how I would use the divergence per se. But this market's so fresh and it made new highs. This is the highest high that it's ever been. So you don't have anything on the left side to compare it to back here. So you can't compare it to anything back there. So if there's nothing to compare it to, we can't say, well, we got a double top or anything. And we can't really tell where that divergence may kick in, because the divergence kicks in at support and resistance levels. So the divergence can last for quite a while. And then maybe that doesn't kick in till way over here somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But then on the last note, when you're looking for that market to continue to the upside, then you're going to look for that hidden bullish divergence. And at this point, I don't see any hidden bullish divergence. I would show you an example of some if I see any really quickly, but there's nothing really to look at there. But at this point, we just are focused on trying to catch the next opportunity to get into this Bitcoin, US dollar. So we're going to look for the opportunity at 166.47.20. I'll keep you updated. We may reduce that entry a little lower depending on what the market shows us, and then we'll talk more about these defaults, these advanced settings. There's other settings that I've been told that people like to trade, so we'll compare them to the default settings, and then you guys can make your own determination as to what settings you want to use. But currently this is what I'm looking at, and I'll keep you updated. We're going to have a blast here, guys, so we'll get it going. Until next time, traders, have a great one, and God bless. So long.